Imagine this. You accidentally eat something toxic. Within minutes, your stomach realizes something is terribly wrong. Muscles begin to contract. Your body activates one of its oldest survival systems, trying to force the dangerous material back out before it can cause even more harm. Now, imagine that emergency system simply doesn't exist. No matter how poisonous the food is, no matter how much pressure builds inside your stomach, your body has absolutely no way to throw it back up. It sounds like a fatal design flaw, and yet every single horse on Earth lives exactly like this. Horses cannot vomit, but here's the real mystery. How can an animal that has survived for millions of years lose one of the body's most important defense mechanisms? Wouldn't natural selection eliminate such a dangerous weakness? Or is there a hidden advantage that most people have never considered? The answer is far more fascinating than you might expect. To understand why horses can't vomit, we first need to understand why vomiting exists in the first place. Most people think vomiting is simply an unpleasant symptom of illness. In reality, it's one of the body's most powerful emergency defense systems. When harmful bacteria, toxins, spoiled food, or poisonous plants reach the stomach, the brain receives warning signals through an intricate network of nerves and chemical messengers. Within seconds, dozens of muscles begin working together in perfect coordination. The stomach contracts, the diaphragm moves, the abdominal muscles squeeze with tremendous force, and a valve connecting the stomach to the esophagus relaxes. Everything happens with one goal: remove the dangerous material before it travels deeper into the digestive system. It's an incredibly sophisticated survival mechanism. Humans can do it. Dogs can do it. Cats can do it. Many carnivores and omnivores rely on it throughout their lives. Even some birds are capable of regurgitating material under specific circumstances. So if vomiting is such an effective defense strategy, why would a horse be missing it entirely? The surprising answer isn't that horses forgot how to vomit. Their bodies are actually built to prevent it. Deep inside a horse's chest and abdomen is a digestive system so specialized that reversing the flow of stomach contents becomes almost physically impossible. Every part of its anatomy, from the shape of the esophagus to the powerful muscles guarding the entrance to the stomach, works together for one purpose: keeping food moving in only one direction. And that remarkable design may explain not only why horses can never throw up, but also why a seemingly simple stomach problem can become one of the greatest threats to their lives. Why can't horses vomit? At first glance, a horse's digestive system doesn't look very different from that of many other mammals. Food travels down the esophagus, enters the stomach, and then continues into the intestines. But the closer scientists looked, the more they realized that horses are built in a very unusual way. The first clue is surprisingly simple: the stomach itself. For an animal that can weigh over 500 kilograms, a horse has a remarkably small stomach, holding only about 8 to 15 liters. Instead of storing large meals, it is designed to process small amounts of food almost continuously. This makes perfect sense for an animal that evolved to graze for up to 16 hours a day across open grasslands. But the stomach's size is only part of the story. The real secret lies where the esophagus meets the stomach. In humans, this connection is protected by a muscular ring called the lower esophageal sphincter. Normally, it stays tightly closed to keep stomach acid from flowing backward. But when the brain triggers vomiting, this muscle relaxes, allowing the stomach's contents to travel back up the esophagus. In horses, things are very different. The lower esophageal sphincter is exceptionally strong, creating an almost permanent seal. On top of that, the esophagus enters the stomach at a very sharp angle. As the stomach fills, pressure pushes this opening even more tightly shut, almost like closing a one-way valve. Imagine trying to push water backward through a hose while someone pinches the end completely closed. No matter how much pressure builds behind it, nothing comes out. That's essentially what happens inside a horse. And that's not the only obstacle. The muscles surrounding the horse's diaphragm and stomach are not arranged to generate the powerful reverse movement needed for vomiting. In species that can vomit, the brain coordinates dozens of muscles in perfect sequence to force material upward. Horses simply don't have the same mechanical setup. Their digestive system is optimized for moving food forward, and only forward. At first, this might sound like a terrible design, but evolution rarely keeps features that reduce survival without offering something in return. For wild horses, spending most of the day grazing meant food was constantly entering the stomach in small amounts. A tightly sealed stomach helped reduce acid reflux, kept digestion efficient, and prevented stomach contents from shifting backward while running at high speed. As prey animals, horses often had to sprint away from predators with a full digestive tract. A secure, one-way system may have provided an important evolutionary advantage. In other words, what seems like a weakness today may once have been a survival advantage. But every advantage comes with a price. And for horses, that price can become dangerously high when something goes wrong inside the digestive system. So what happens when a horse eats spoiled food, swallows something it shouldn't, or gas begins building up inside its stomach? Unlike humans, dogs, or many other animals, a horse has almost no emergency escape route. Because the entrance to the stomach remains tightly sealed, anything trapped inside has only one direction to travel, forward through the digestive system. If that normal flow is interrupted, pressure can begin to build. As the stomach stretches, the horse experiences increasing pain and discomfort. This is one of the reasons veterinarians take digestive problems in horses so seriously. A condition known as colic isn't a single disease. It's a general term describing abdominal pain, and it can have many different causes. While a horse's inability to vomit doesn't directly cause every case of colic, it does remove one important protective mechanism that many other animals have. In other words, when something goes wrong, horses have fewer natural ways to relieve the pressure. But here's an interesting twist. Many people assume horses can't vomit because they're simply too big. That's not true. Others believe their long neck somehow prevents it. That's also a myth. The real reason is hidden in their anatomy. Their powerful lower esophageal sphincter, the sharp angle where the esophagus enters the stomach, the strong attachment of the stomach within the abdomen, and a digestive system designed for continuous grazing all work together to make vomiting almost physically impossible. Nature didn't make a mistake, it made a trade-off. For millions of years, this one-way digestive system helped horses efficiently process food while spending most of their lives grazing and remaining ready to flee from predators at a moment's notice. The same design that supported their survival also created a vulnerability that still exists today. It's a powerful reminder that evolution doesn't create perfect animals. It creates animals that are good enough to survive in the environments that shaped them. So the next time you see a horse peacefully grazing in a field, remember that it carries one of the most unusual digestive systems in the animal kingdom. A system so specialized that one of the body's most common defense mechanisms simply doesn't exist. And perhaps that's the most fascinating lesson of all. Sometimes the greatest mysteries in nature aren't about what animals can do, they're about what they can't. If you enjoy discovering the hidden science behind the animal world, subscribe and join us for the next mystery. Because nature is full of incredible stories that are hiding in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered. Nature is full of mysteries, hiding in plain sight. The more we learn about animals, the more we realize that evolution isn't about creating perfect creatures. It's about creating survivors. And sometimes the most fascinating questions aren't about what animals can do. They're about what they can't. If this mystery surprised you, there's a lot more waiting to be discovered. Subscribe and join us as we uncover the hidden science behind the world's most incredible animals, one mystery at a time.